Picture this, the biggest stage in human history. Millions of eyes watching every single blade of grass. One moment of hesitation and your entire dream dies. But what happens when a teenage prodigy completely defies the script, silences an entire stadium, and leaves the referees frozen in absolute chaos? Welcome to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, broadcasting live from the breathtaking BC Place in Vancouver, Canada. This is not just a regular football match. This is a psychological warfare disguised as a game, where Group D is currently witnessing one of the most intense, unpredictable, and nerve-wracking battles between Australia and Türkiye. If you thought you knew how this game would go, think again. The first 45 minutes have just wrapped up, and the narrative shifting beneath our feet is nothing short of legendary. Let us set the scene. Before the referee even blew the starting whistle, the atmosphere inside the stadium was heavy. You could literally feel the anxiety in the air. On one side, you have the Socceroos, a team known for their relentless grit, defensive discipline, and fighting spirit. On the other side, the tactical brilliance of Türkiye, backed by an army of passionate fans screaming for victory. The tactical battle lines were drawn perfectly. From the very first minute, it was clear that neither side wanted to make the first mistake. Türkiye took control of the ball, moving it with precision, trying to find a loophole in the Australian wall. Every pass felt like a chess move. Every tackle felt like a statement. The minutes kept ticking away, and the tension kept rising. The fans were on the edge of their seats, waiting for that one spark, that one moment of pure magic to break the deadlock. And then, the 26th minute arrived. A moment that will be replayed for years to come. Australia launched a lightning-fast counterattack. The ball found its way to Nestory Irankunda. At just a young age, carrying the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders, he did not blink. He saw his chance, capitalized on a split-second defensive lapse from Türkiye, and buried the ball into the back of the net. The Australian fans went completely wild. It was a masterpiece of a strike, a display of pure confidence that shocked the entire stadium. But just as the celebrations peaked, a sudden, suffocating silence fell over the arena. The referee blew his whistle, signaling for something every football fan dreads: the dreaded video assistant referee review. Was it offside? Was there a foul in the build-up? For a couple of agonizing minutes, time completely stood still. The players stopped. The fans held their breath. The psychological pressure in that moment was almost unbearable. Irankunda stood there, waiting to see if his dream moment would be erased in an instant. The referees huddled over the screen, analyzing every frame, every angle. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Finally, the decision came through. The goal was perfectly clean. The referee pointed to the center circle, confirming the scoreline. Australia 1, Türkiye 0. The relief on the faces of the Australian players was undeniable, but across the pitch, something else was brewing. The Turkish players looked at each other, and you could see the fire ignite in their eyes. This unexpected breakthrough changed everything. How would Türkiye respond to this massive psychological blow? Would they crumble under the pressure, or would their world-class superstars step up to rewrite history? With Australia holding on to a crucial 1-0 lead, the tactical dynamics of the match completely flipped. Türkiye knew they could no longer afford to play safe. They had to attack. And this is where the real psychological drama began. All eyes immediately turned to Türkiye's brightest stars, Arda, Güler, and Hakan Çalhanoğlu. These are players who thrive under pressure, men who can turn a game on its head with a single pass or a brilliant long-range strike. As the clock ticked down towards halftime, Çalhanoğlu began dictating the tempo from the midfield, spreading passes, trying to find spaces between the lines. Arda Güler, with his mesmerizing footwork, tried to find spaces between the lines. Every time he touched the ball, you could hear the crowd gasp. The pressure on the Australian backline was relentless. It was an absolute masterclass in defensive resilience versus attacking desperation. The Socceroos dropped deep, forming a human fortress in front of their goal. They stood firm, tracking every run, blocking every cross, and putting their bodies on the line. It was brilliant, gritty, and incredibly stressful to watch.
What makes this first half even more fascinating is how remarkably clean the game has been, despite the immense stakes. Usually, when the pressure reaches this level, tempers flare, tackles get reckless, and cards start flying out of the referee's pocket. But not today. Up until the halftime whistle, the referee has not issued a single yellow or red card to either side. It's been a showcase of pure, high-level footballing discipline. Both teams are channelizing their aggression entirely into their tactical execution, making this a beautiful, tactical battle of wits. As the referee blew the whistle for halftime, the scoreboard read Australia 1, Türkiye 0. Australia goes into the locker room with the psychological advantage, but they know the job is nowhere near finished. Türkiye has the depth, the talent, and the sheer willpower to turn this around in the second half. The managers are inside the dressing rooms right now, drawing up new blueprints, making critical adjustments that will decide the fate of this World Cup clash. Will Australia's defense hold strong for another 45 minutes to secure a historic victory, or are we about to witness an epic, unforgettable comeback from Güler and the Turkish squad? The stage is set, the tension is maximizing, and the second half promises to be an absolute thriller. Make sure you are subscribed to Total Football Nexus because we'll be right here to break down every single moment of drama, tactical shift, and heartbreak as it happens. Stay tuned because the